Hi, and welcome to today's tech news. I'm going to talk about a couple topics here. The first one is this new Intel CPU 11 generation one that just came out. Lots of people just got access to this. In fact, I heard some people were able to buy it through like Australia's vendors. Like it got leaked before people were supposed to, before the embargo lifts, which is basically an agreement when to talk about it. So they didn't. They had like vendors sell it before that, so people got it, and people aren't too happy with it. This video says Jay's 2 cents is like, don't get excited. It's funny. This guy says it's a waste of sand too. It just Gamers Nexus. So people aren't really too happy with it, and the reason is because AMD is just killing it in the market of CPUs right now with new hardware. And what I always look at, if you just Google, I just Google CPU benchmarks, and I go to this past mark site right here, and then I go to not search here, but high end here, CPUs, and then you can see all the CPUs based on price, based on the CPU mark they got, and how well each CPU is doing. So if you look at this graph, you come down here and you try to find where the 1100 is for the new release, and I have a hard time even finding it here. I had it here on this one. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't even see it here. 1100. So right here, Intel Core i9 1100 900K is $618. Look how expensive that is. Then you go up here and you start seeing AMD parts that are faster. Look how much cheaper this is. This one's $449. You can keep going up, and I bet you even see cheaper AMD. Look at this one, $449 too. And it's weird that you have such high-end AMD chips at the top here, and where's the first Intel one? All the way down here, and this chip is $7,000. Like, so that's what I kind of always look at when it comes to CPUs and what to buy. I highly recommend AMD Ryzen 9th generation here. Not 9th generation. Is that? Maybe it's not called that. I'll have to look. But these are like $549. I mean, look how good this CPU is for the price. If you want to go one step further, I recommend this one, the $799 one. If you want to go one step down, it's right around like $480 here. And if you want to go around the $300 mark, I recommend you're starting to get into lower end CPUs around the $300 mark, and those are actually harder to find. Are these all not $300? That's crazy. See, that's what's crazy. You can buy a $450 CPU, but the next one down under that price is really, wow, it's an Intel CPU, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, the market for $300 CPUs isn't great. But this one actually, so this is a previous generation. Yeah, so you have Ryzen 7th generation, Ryzen 9th generation. So this is a previous generation here. In fact, I think I own this CPU. And $325 is a steal for this. And if you ever want to know, does this tell you the graph of how much it costs over time? Yeah. Well, here. Yeah, so here's the price history. So you can see it hasn't, in fact, it's gone up a little bit. It used to be $299 at some spots. Right around here. But then it jumped back up. So you can always see the price of what a CPU is. And I recommend not buying CPUs at the peak of stuff. So, like, even though it's a little bit more expensive, So like GPUs at this point would be super expensive. I don't recommend buying any GPUs. But anyway, people are really disappointed with the 11th gen CPUs, and everyone says waste of sand, don't buy it, buy AMD parts. Fortunately, Intel is still waiting to move down generations of CPU architectures. I think they're still, this is 11th generation, and unfortunately, they're kind of stuck on this for a while. We'll see if they can catch up to AMD. All right, the next story is a security story. I'm not sure if most of the people out there actually use Facebook, but I'm sure they do. But as of April 3rd of this morning, or yesterday morning, 533 million Facebook users' phone numbers and personal data have been leaked online. So that's pretty terrible to hear and know about. 11 million, 32 million were in the US, 11 in the UK, and 6 million in India. It's funny that this gets compromised and it's not the entire database of people, and you wonder what exploit was taken advantage of to get to this data, because it either segmented off, like you can imagine Facebook as a company has some system that leaked this, and they don't talk about it, how it got leaked. I don't think even Facebook will give any data on on how it was leaked. Can't do much. Come on, Facebook. It says it was done through phishing. No, I'm not convinced that it was a phishing attack. So a phishing attack is like you get an email with a fake link and then you click it and it may show you a Facebook login. That's not how 500 million accounts got lost or compromised, basically. So once again, Facebook in the news and not doing very well with security and some other stuff. All right, on to some better news. I wanted to talk about two new things that are actually coming out. And the first one is SpaceX's Starlink. So we're starting to finally get satellite internet that's actually, I think, somewhat decent from Elon Musk's company, Starlink. Everyone's starting to beta test this, which is very interesting. And to see the prices are, not great. But, this guy forked over $600 and 1 month of service included to see what it is. A 30-pound box, which is pretty heavy. It's $99 a month. That's pretty good. They should start giving the hardware for free, or try to be able to build that into the cost of, a 12-month subscription or a 2-year subscription, similar to what they do with like cell phones and other stuff. It's great to see. It says you can expect speeds anywhere from 50 to 150 megabits per second, and that's really actually pretty decent to see. The latency, not as great to see, but you can't expect sub 10 millisecond latency over satellite internet. Maybe one day, maybe they can get that even faster, but even 20 to 40 is still pretty good. No data caps, perfect. That's what people really want. If you have no data caps, and they don't actually mention, of course, upload speed, which is very important for content creators and a lot of people on the internet that still just kind of ignore upload speed. But they don't mention it here. I wonder what that's at. I'm sure it's not great, but that's something that a content creator on Twitch or YouTube or any platform, for that matter, always looks at bandwidth upload speed, and I have a feeling many don't here. They don't even mention it here. So, They do say they expect to double the speeds by 2021, which is great to hear. Once again, what is the upload speed? This thing is kind of atrocious, the size. It seems a little big for what you would need for satellite internet. Maybe they can make that smaller in the future, or if like you have a fixed location, you don't need as big. And like maybe if you have something it mounted to like a boat or something, it would have some way that way it had to be bigger to acquire the satellite signal better. But for the most part, this technology is very interesting. Here's a small video of him running, I'm sure, a speed test. Let's see if he does.
So that's not great. It still looks like there are some issues, but
Oh, yeah,
I'm going
he's
to
even
go
saying
ahead
there's
and run
issues.
some speed tests to see what
So here's
my
the speed
speeds are
test
like.
with it.
So
Let's
I
see
am
what
getting
get
a
upload
latency of
speeds.
39 milliseconds at a download speed of 80 megabits a second.
Okay. So yeah, see
With an
how
upload speed
upload
about
speeds
13.
always
So
suffer
it's
when.
great. This is decent. I think the speeds are
Yeah, I
fine.
mean,
So I'm gonna
10
go
plus
ahead and
is
do
good
some
for
streaming
upload
on
speed
YouTube.
too, but it could always be faster as a content creator. We're always just kind of waiting for stuff to upload and download when you stream stuff on the internet. So yeah, very interesting, good news as opposed to the last two stories were kind of not so good news. And the last story is going to be about a software updates. And recently, most of the time, I'm heavily involved in Python development. And here we have an article about Python, and they are finally adding a switch statement. Now, if you don't know what a switch statement is, they're heavily used in the programming languages in C. I believe it's very prevalent to have C switch statement. So if you've ever worked with C, this is very typical to have a switch statement like this. But Python never really had this. There was always proposals as, and they call them PEP, PEPs, are what Python make. They make these PEPs when they have an improvement. So they basically call it the Python enhancement proposals. So there was always a proposal to add switch cases, but they really never did. And over the years, people wanted them, but recently they finally added this support. So now we have not only this switch case stuff, we also have this more powerful feature called the match pattern. And I don't know if you've ever worked with regex, which is kind of this archaic, well, super archaic, I think very archaic kind of language to represent text. Now, when you need regex, you know you need regex, and when it comes to programming and other stuff. But it's nice to see a different way where you don't have that much regex code. You have this match stuff. So here you can see he's matching on different stuff here. It's not regex, of course, but these cases are a lot less verbose than like regex syntax. If you've ever dealt with regex, you know it's like you can look at all these patterns here. Here's the cheat sheet. So yeah, look at all these crazy things for regex. So, but now we have in Python the switch statement as well as this match switch statement, which is actually really nice. So that's pretty much sums up the news for the news today. I'll probably have maybe better examples maybe next time of the programming here. I'll try it out. It says it's on Python 3.10 alpha. The other thing too is don't expect great speed out of this new feature. Some people I did read that this Python feature is pretty slow. So like if you're doing something that is extremely important to have at some speed, it might be better to use regex still. Make sure you just test what you're trying to do, and I can try to demo this real quick. Let's see if Docker is installed real quick. Yeah. So let's do. So yeah, this is the brand new version right here. So this RC Buster is the newest version. So I'm going to do docker pull Python 3. Really? Maybe it's just Python? Yeah, maybe it's just Python now, because finally Python 2 is gone. Yeah, cool. So we'll get this image and we'll do docker run it. So we're going to run this command docker run interactive mode, then the terminal, and then your image, and then the command you want to run. So I'm going to run bin bash. And I got to stop putting Python 3. Okay, so now when you run Python 3 here, you'll get 3.10.0.alpha, and you'll have this new matching syntax here. And let's see if I can do this. So like, let's do a equals Dan, and we'll do case a equals Dan, like this. No. Oh, it says match something. Oh, I see. So you do a equals Dan, then you do match a. Oh, it needs a colon. And then you do case Dan. And that needs another colon. And then print the value of this is running, which is good. Case Bob. So there you go. That's how you use it. You do a equals Dan, then you do match a, and then it says does a equal Dan, and that's true. So then it comes inside here, and then it says the value of this is running, which is good. Now if you did b equals, or a equals Bob, you can make this other one run. And there's probably a better way to do this, but I'm just going to scroll quickly back through this buffer and print these out. There you go. The name is Bob. So this was really cool, is that the switch statement can do a matching pattern now like this. And you can even do more fancy stuff, like here this case where it says nothing, that's even more powerful. So then you can do stuff like this where you can do a equals Laura. Let's do this again. And we're going to do case this and basically say print, sorry, we fell through the match statement and did not find this. So there's another example on how you can like say like these values are good and then everything else is bad. And it's a very, very powerful feature in a programming language. So hopefully that is a pretty good overview of some news today. And thanks for watching. I'll be back on soon.